very warm welcome to our Israel Vision studios in the lovely Mount Zion Hotel. Our interview segment is called People Who Make a Difference, and today's guest certainly qualifies. His name is Ariel Jerozolimski, and Ariel is an immigrant from Uruguay and is now the chief photographer at the Jerusalem Post. But his photographs are absolutely amazing. Ariel was trained in photography, but he has that special gift that you can't learn in any school, and that is the ability to capture a unique photo at a unique moment. Ariel, it's a joy to have you with us. We've known each other over the years and professionally, but we've always loved you and appreciate your talent so much.
Thank you very much.
How did you come to Israel? Your father has a newspaper in Uruguay, right?
My father that passed away last year, he edited a Jewish weekly newspaper in Uruguay called Semanario Hebreo, the Hebrew Weekly. And I think that we felt it at home, the relation with Israel, the feeling, and also the media work. My sister also is a journalist. She works, she's the correspondent of the BBC, the Latin American services in Israel, and for other Spanish media. And in '84, I made Aliyah, I came to Israel, and since '89, I work as a professional press photographer.
And what happened? Did you work in the army as well?
It was 2 years of my service. I was a military photographer in the IDF spokesman unit, and that gave me a great experience in the field, in knowing people and having experience in being in the field. And immediately after, one day after the army, I already had a job in a local Jerusalem newspaper, and started also as a freelancer for many papers, and since 1999 as a staff photographer at the Jerusalem Post.
When did you decide that you were a photographer?
It started as a teenager, that as a hobby. My father took great pictures. Once I took his camera and started in some way to play, but I think that there's a very big relation between curiosity and photography.
Yes.
And just like to catch a scene from all the things that you see in the street, in human realities.
And you have that ability to catch comedy on the film and tragedy.
Yeah.
You have a lot of opportunity for almost both here in Israel.
I think Israel is a country with very big contrasts, and as you said, here there are very dramatic situations, and on the other side you can testify really curious moments that are really crazy sometimes. And I like both. I like to catch the dramatic moments in the news, in the life, because of the terror, because of the conflict here in this country. But I like very much just to go around in the streets and to try to see the other angle that maybe that now everyone sees, and just to catch the curious moments of people.
That's amazing. You know, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And so your pictures speak very loudly. Do you have a favorite, or do you have a favorite 2 or 3 photos that you have taken?
Yeah, of course. I don't know if 1, 2, or 3, but there are many pictures that
You just love?
that I really enjoy.
What is it? Is it timing? Is it, yes, you got it at exactly the right moment? What is it?
Yeah, of course. I think I enjoy more that kind of pictures than really hot news.
Yes.
I see it's something very personal. I have like a weekly column called Freeze Frame at the Jerusalem Post that for me it's the most important part of the work. It's what I enjoy more than I think any other.
Every week, I know, we always turn to that page in the Jerusalem Post weekend edition to see your picture.
Thank you. I don't succeed every week to have the picture that I'd like to, but I try, because I'm busy also with other sections of the paper, interviews and daily news. But if I didn't have other compromises, I would love to just to go all the time around in the streets and looking for that special picture.
Is it hard for you when you're looking through the camera and you're seeing tragedy? I mean, some of the pictures that we're going to be showing our viewing audience that you've loaned to us, and thank you very much for that, you're going to see some really tragic photographs. How do you deal with that as a person? Does it? I mean, it must take a toll on you.
The only way is just to switch off your feelings when you come to the scene of suicide bombing or any other terror attack or any other dramatic situation, and just to be concentrated in trying to get the best picture you can. Of course, with the limits of respect of the wounded, of the dead people, letting the emergency workers, security, police, medics, to let their work. But in sense of feelings, yeah, of course, just to switch off and try not to feel all the pain that you feel about all the human disasters that you see in front of you.
And not bring it home, hey?
I have a question. They say that the shoemaker's children have no shoes. Do you take pictures of your family?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. You have lots of your children.
I have one daughter, and yeah, I think that she's very photographed.
And what would you say to our audience today, because you are capturing an Israel that by and large much of the world does not see?
What do you mean about the future?
Well, just the Israel that we know and that we live in. What would you say to our viewing audience about that Israel? All they see is tragedy, horror,
of course not,
aggression.
Of course not. I think that we live in a different country of what people see in the TV all the time. I think that the majority of the world think that here people just run in barricades and with bulletproof vests, and I think that there's a normal life. Sometimes maybe that sounds crazy, but I think that there is a real normal life aside of all the dramatic situations that people feel and live here.
And you record that.
Yeah.
Actually, you're recording history. You are capturing Israel in a time of great evolution. And I see you as like carrying on the work that David Rubinger started, the great photographer.
It's a major compliment for me.
Well, I honestly believe
I feel that
you're
too.
in the same level and category as David. I mean, he's a great artist and great man. He was in the Yeshuv in the early days, and he's since retired. And it's kind of like you came along and took his baton and carried on from there.
I respect your words. I don't want to... for me, it's a great compliment just to mention together with him. He's a great photographer and a real gentleman and friend.
Now, we know that we're going to be having a difficult time with the disengagement. And it's going to require you taking pictures of brothers, fighting brothers, people who have very strong opinions. And that's one of the things about Israel. How do you deal with that? You're going to have to look through the lens.
It's not easy, of course. I hope that it will be more quiet than some of the expectations. And to be sincere, I really want to be after that.
Yes.
But it won't be easy, and I'm sure that there will be dramatic moments, and I hope that people realize that it's hard to explain it. I hope that the hard expectations will not be part of the truth.
Not realized, that it will dissipate, I agree.
But I think that nobody can know what's going to be.
No. I've often heard it said that the most beautiful in the girls in the world live in Israel. What do you say?
I know two, my wife and my daughter.
This is a wise man. Very good, very good.
So Ariel, what do you see happening now in the future for your career? Do you have any books planned or anything like that?
My plan that in the meantime, it's only a plan because I don't know when I'll have time to do it. It's to edit a book with my freeze frames, not news pictures, that kind of pictures that I love about street scenes. And I hope once to make it real.
Well, that is our prayer, that it will happen, because you certainly have an unusual gift. And if people want to get in touch with you, do you have a website where they can see your pictures?
Not yet, and it's connected to what I explained to you before, that because of my crazy schedule, I didn't do a website yet. I hope to do it in the near future, maybe after the disengagement.
Well, our son Chris is a great website designer.
Okay,
Maybe he
so
could
maybe
help
we'll
you.
talk after the program. But people can email me at ariel@jpost.com.
Say that again, Ariel?
Ariel, A-R-I-E-L, @jpost.com.
.com. That's it. And they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, and I hope once to make the website.
Well, that's awesome, and we're so grateful you took time out of your busy schedule to be with us today. I know that you're always on the go, getting around. How do you get around in the traffic? That's another question.
Motorcycle, the only way.
Yeah,
and
right.
possibly other way, with all the traffic jams. It's the only way it's by air.
Do you have a favorite street in Jerusalem?
Favorite street? Jabotinsky near the president's house. I think it's a beautiful street. Nahalat Shiva, Yol Solomon, the Peresian one, another one. But there are so many beautiful places in Jerusalem that it's really hard to find only one. There are many places that I really enjoy just going around.
Well, Ariel, I am cheering with you to see this book come forth, The Israel That People Don't See.
Thank you very much.
And I know it will be a great blessing to our viewers, particularly who love Israel. And if you would like that special photograph, I want you to get in touch with Ariel. His work is unforgettable. And it has been our privilege to have you today. And so we will sign off for now.
Just before we do, though, could I say, Maridel, one of our sons, Josh, took many, many pictures of Jerusalem, the streets of Jerusalem, and we offered to our viewing audience a free prayer map. And we send some photographs that he took, and we mark a street on the map with a highlighter pen, and then a photograph of that street, and we send that to the people all over the world, and we ask them to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. So maybe you could donate one or two of your pictures to us.
Pleasure.
That'd be awesome. And we'll give you the full credit in that.
With pleasure.
So write in for that prayer map.
Yeah.
And we love to hear from you. And at this time, we're going to say, Shalom,
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 shalom
from Jerusalem.
Shalom, this is Dr. Jay Rawlings reporting to you on Fact or Fantasy. Today I want to discuss prisoner releases here in the Middle East. The myth is that Israel is required to release Palestinians and Israeli prisoners as a precondition of the roadmap. The fact is that not a single word in the text of the roadmap to peace refers to the release of Palestinian prisoners. Hamas and Islamic Jihad made the demand for Israel to release prisoners in their Hudna, or temporary ceasefire agreement with the Palestinian Authority. Israel was not a party to this agreement. Regarding the roadmap, the first sentence in the outline of Phase 1 does say that the Palestinians, however, must immediately undertake an unconditional cessation of violence. Now, despite the fact that Israel is under no legal responsibility to release Palestinian prisoners, the government has released a number of prisoners and has subsequently agreed to release several hundred more, many of whom are closely connected to terrorist organizations and who have committed terror attacks against Israel. Now, why is this the case? Well, Prime Minister Ariel Sharon has agreed to release Palestinian prisoners as a confidence-building measure and as a means of strengthening the position of Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in the eyes of his own people. There's no reason to expect prisoners who have been found guilty of crimes to automatically be eligible for freedom simply because the Palestinians demand it. It is especially understandable when Israel refuses to release prisoners with blood on their hands or those who have killed or injured Israelis. Even a limited prisoner release represents a risk that Israel is taking in the interest of peace. In the past, some released prisoners have returned to terrorism and committed new crimes against Israelis. The fact is that prisoner release will be a major test of the Palestinian Authorities' commitment to peace and its ability to make sure that these people freed by Israel do not resort to more violence. This is Fact and Fantasy for this week. See you next time.
Welcome to this portion, His Still Small Voice. I'm Ariel Jerozolimski, and I'm coming to you from our garden on the outskirts of Jerusalem. I'd like to just speak briefly about man's indignity to man. It's something on all of our minds around the world. The newscasts are filled with it. We're hearing about raids on whole neighborhoods, people taken away in the middle of the night, houses searched, arrests made. I mean, I live in the Middle East. This is nothing new to me. I've lived with this for years. But what do we do with man's indignity to man? How do we respond to this? How do we react to this? Where are we going? What difference can you and I make? Well, not very much, but we can do something. We can be the drop that falls into the pond and start the ripples, and we can start right where we live with ourselves and get a hold of ourselves and realize that the sorrow that this is creating in many lives can bring forth very good fruit. For those who are sorrowing, we need to be there for them. We need to emphasize, cook a meal, write a letter, make a phone call, do something for those who have losses, whether it's from terror or any other world situation going on around us. But there's more. We need to realize the value of sorrow. Sorrow works deeply inside of each one of us. Sorrow takes away the facade of pride, the pride of life, the pride of position, thinking that we're so much better than other people when we're not. We're all human beings. Suffering makes us human. Suffering is what we all have in common. And when we suffer, we find that it's not hard. We'll do two things. We'll either close our hearts to God, or we'll open them, and prayer will come easily with our tears, and He will hear. Why do we suffer? For our own good. Is that true? Does God want us to suffer? Is He a monster? I believe it's part of the eternal principles that have been built into the way this world runs. It's what we do with suffering that makes the difference. What can we say? I want to refer you back to the Word of God. Eye has not seen, and ear has not heard the things that God has prepared for those who love Him. Take comfort from the books of Isaiah and the book of Revelation. Some of the sweetest words ever written say, "And there shall be no more death, no more sorrow or sighing." It says, "And all the pain shall flee away, and He, God Himself, shall wipe away all tears." Or in another place it says, "Tears from every face." I had an incredible dream a few years ago about the various levels that take us to heaven. One level was the level of sorrow. If you would like to know about that, log on to my website and look for Heaven, Visions of Heaven, at His Still Small Voice.
Have you ever wondered why there is no peace in the Middle East in the ongoing battle between the Israelis and the Palestinians? This complex conflict that goes back 4,000 years can now be explained in simple terms in the Deadly Peace Game. This DVD will enlighten you and encourage you to pray for the peace of Jerusalem as never before. Dr. J. Rawlings, a veteran TV correspondent in the Middle East for over 3 decades, presents the 79-minute Deadly Peace Game multimedia story with you in mind. Now finally, for just $24.95, you have access to unique information in a simple yet easy-to-understand package that is not available anywhere else. Call the number on the screen right now. For just $24.95, you can order your own informative Deadly Peace Game DVD. Call now the number on the screen or order online at www.israelvision.com.